Let me first preface my questions by asking you a question referring to something that you stated to me earlier. You stated your willingness for me to use your name
Right.
in the research document.
Right.
Why?
Well, it's very important for me that I own myself. I don't want to closet myself or anything like that. I want to own it. I'm a very public person, so I want all of who I am to be known. I don't want part of me to be known, or I don't want my name not known. I don't want to talk that way anymore. I want to become an outspeaker for the rights of black lesbians and gays in particular. So I like it when people use my name.
Okay.
I have no
How
problem.
long have you been affiliated with the Adodi?
For about 9 years now.
9 years.
Yeah, right.
Oh, so you're one of the founding.
No, no,
Let's
no.
see, it's been 11 years.
11 years. So I came some like 2 years or so later.
Oh, really? Can you tell me about your first experience here?
Well, I had never experienced anything like it in my life, and it was just good to get with black gay men who weren't reading each other, who weren't competitive, who weren't ashamed of who they were, not drinking and drugging. It was just powerful. That was the most powerful time that I'd ever experienced in my life, even in many ways outside of the church. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been coming ever since.
And I've been coming ever since.
Do you look forward to this time?
Oh, I look immensely for this is where I began my new year as I move toward, I sort of use this as the mark of my fiscal year. And I move and do whatever I'm going to do out of this experience.
Oh, okay.
Which this experience is informed by other experiences. But this experience then becomes the place where I began to push out to do my work. Like this summer, when I leave here, now I look forward to ordination as an Episcopal priest. And so when ordination comes in June, this is the road now. This is the place I'm looking for from the Adodi retreat. I'm looking now down into June this is the place where I get my empowerment to be fully who I am, so that when I step before the church, I'm healthy, I'm real. They have to deal with it.
Okay.
The issue is not ordination anymore. The issue is my health and my sanity.
Okay. So is this considered as spiritual?
Oh, most definitely. This is one of the most spiritual things I do each year. And also, I go to the one-day retreats. I'm on the planning committee of this, so I go to the one-day retreats and I participate fully. It's important to me. I look forward to it. It's a line of not only demarcation, but it's a line of milestones. Each time I get to one, I've gotten to another place. No, I get to another place.
And one of the most fascinating things to me is the tribute to the ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
This is my second year. About for you?
I am sort of like a liturgical ritual person, and I am a firm believer that ritual takes us to new places, to another level. And so it's important to me that that we do ritual, but we must do good ritual and we must do inclusive ritual. I used to have problems with the tribute to the ancestors because I felt it was coming from one tradition. You either stepped out of it or you felt bad about it or whatever. And I just thought that it's so important for people to be healthy, even in doing this stuff as we move to another level. Each time we do the tribute to the ancestors, which is more than just a memorial, it is accepting a legacy that's been given to us and saying, well, we're going to move out with it from here. And each time we do that, I move to another level. To me, I'd like to characterize it as a very dangerous ritual.
Why?
Dangerous because you can get empowered in that place, and everybody ain't ready for you when you get empowered. So I'm saying dangerous, tongue-in-cheek, because you can get very empowered in that place, and it can be the most uplifting thing that you go through until you're ready to step out and say, yes, I am gay. Get over it, because I'm living my life, And I think that's what happens for me there. And to incorporate all kinds of things there is really important, because that way everybody gets filled, So I just thought it was tremendous last night.
It was tremendous.
Right.
Well, can you share with us the significance, with me? There were several things that we did last night. Let's talk about the necklace.
Mm-hmm.
And you explained it last night, the significance of the
Right.
colors, and could you explain that to me again?
Well, first, let me just say that giving out the beads is important to me. Every year that I do this, and I've only been doing it for like 5 years, I've only been doing it. The idea is I have to connect all this to my priesthood. I have been denied ordination based on being a black gay man. And I have to,
Is this in the Catholic Church?
no, the
or-
Episcopal Church. And my thing is I have to act out my priesthood wherever I can. Priesthood is not just about being able to dress up in robes and do things. So, when I do these rituals and when I create this thing about the beads, it's my way of doing priesthood. It's my way of putting something in your hand, like the priest puts the wafer in your hand. To me, putting the beads in your hand is that way of doing a sacramental thing. I want people to not give power to the beads, but use the beads to remind them of the power they have inside of them. So while the beads may stand for something, they are not that they stand for. So wearing those beads are not going to make you more powerful. They're going to only remind you of the power that you have.
Oh, wonderful.
Right. So when I started doing that, that's where I was coming from. And I know the first time that I did it, I got people in my workshop to make beads for everybody. Then I decided that I wanted to take colors. And I looked at the Yoruba tradition, which is not my tradition, but it's a tradition that I'm very open to. And in that, they have their own beads, their own colors. They're called ilekes. And they represent the different deities of the Yoruba tradition. I've taken those Yoruba deities and turned them into positive, that I want to use. They're positive things for me. Say, for instance, the ones I gave last night were green and yellow. And they stand for, in the necklaces, they stand for Orumnala. Orumnala. And Orumnala,
Gentlemen, if you could just...
Orumnala is like
I'm sorry, could you spell that? Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll
Could you
spell
spell that for us? For me?
Orumnila.
Okay.
Orumnala. And Orumnala is like the Word of God. He is like the Word of God. He is the Ashe.
Oh, Shay.
Right. And so what I did was I said, okay, Orumnala. Wow, what does that mean to me? And every black gay man that I talk to, and every human being really, but particularly here, every black gay man here is the Word of God, walking incarnate. And I call on that to be real. I call that out of you, I call it out of me, I call out of any black gay man I see, to stop walking with their heads between their legs and walk proud, because you are the Word of God. And I call on that, and I demand that from people. And so I took Orumnala's colors and put them on the necklace, the yellow and the green. Then I took some wood and put there, because we are wood also, in that when we get cut down, we're rooted in something. We're rooted in our traditions, our faith traditions. We're rooted in 12-step programs. We're rooted in something. We're rooted in something Grandma said.
Yes, yes.
So that when trauma happens to us on top, we're so rooted in the ground that yes, we feel the trauma, but we're so rooted that we stay with it. So wood was on there also, because every time a tree gets cut down, it comes back, because it's rooted in something. And we're just like that. We have hope. Wood has hope, or else it wouldn't keep coming back
Yeah.
again and again and again. So we are hope and we are Ashe. You know, that's my beliefs. It is not maybe fully Yoruba tradition, but it comes from out of that, and also out of my faith. And so I did these beads like that. You know? And the beads, even though there are 24 beads on there, not counting the wooden beads, 24 has no significant number, and that's not where I want people to go. I want people to go to the message that's behind it.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, that's
So
wonderful.
that's about the beads.
No, what about the song?
Which one?
We sang a song last night.
To Oya?
Uh-huh.
Oya Day?
Oh, yeah, Day. Can you sing it for me? Would you mind?
Okay. Oya Day, Oya Day, Oya Day Leo, winds of change. Once again, it comes out of the Yoruba tradition. Oya is the god of the wind. She is a warrior god, and she's seen in the tornado. And she's also seen in that summer night's breeze when you walk with your lover on the beach. It's Oya. Oya is the wind.
Yeah, yeah.
So what I'm saying here is that while I am not Yoruba, Oya is about change. Well, the wind changes things. And so therefore, we need to be open to change, not resist change, and not just go along with change, just because it happened, but to work with change so that we stay healthy.
Oh,
So
yes.
that's what I was calling people to last night, is to remember that we don't have to fight it and we don't have to totally surrender to it, but work with it so that we can win,
Yes.
come out on the other side
Yes.
in one piece.
Yes.
So
About the, what was the ring? What was it called last night?
the ring shout.
Yeah, the ring shout.
Well, we used that song and did a ring shout because that's what the ancestors did. When they came to this country, they would have a ring shout. Praise. It's a praise. It's a praise dance. And to praise the wind like that was to get the spirit going. And they would shout and carry on. And they used to have this other thing that they would put over their heads because when Massa would hear them, they would get into trouble for worshiping their God the way they needed to worship their God. And so they would put a praise bucket over their head. Now, we don't need the praise bucket anymore. What we need is to praise whoever and however we need to do it. And so that whole idea of a ring shout last night was to stir up the spirit, to call down spirit, to call up spirit, to pull out spirit everywhere, And I think it worked in that room last night.
Yes, it did.
I think it worked.
It really did.
Right. So that is influenced by the Yoruba tradition, but I'm not Yoruba, but I have a high respect for what that's all about. And I think it's a shame that people are secretive about that in a different way that maybe a person could be Christian and own Buddhism.
Oh, yes, yes.
But if somebody says you're Yoruba, well, you're not initiated, so you shouldn't be doing that. But I think there's room for that here.
Yes, yes.
There's room for that here.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So we have borrowed from several different faiths in
Sure.
essence, and to contribute to our spiritual being and our spiritual
and we're
awareness.
none of them. Here we are
Exactly.
none of them.
Oh, excellent, superb.
Yeah.
So if I should ask you, if you could describe in one sentence this retreat, how would you describe it? What would you say to describe this weekend?
Well, for me, how I would describe it is that it's a weekend of gay men of African descent to be supportive to one another, to care about one another, and to be cared for.
Okay. Now, can we switch for just a second, and
Sure.
we'll come back to the Adodi. Let's talk about your life.
Okay.
Do you recognize yourself as a gay man of African descent?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Without a doubt.
Without a doubt?
Without a doubt.
Since when? When did you recognize that? Okay, let me rephrase this question. Do you remember your first sexual contact with another man?
Oh, quite well, thank
You
you.
do?
Quite well, thank you very much. I was 15.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was devastating.
About it?
Well, I don't want to go too into detail about it, but I know that it's a very traumatic thing, and I am worried about young people who come out at age 15 and who they come out with. Because in this day, when alcohol and drugs are so prevalent, if they had as devastating experience as I had, they might resort to alcohol and drugs to continue. I really worry about young people because it was very hard for me.
Okay. So after that contact,
Then it was just, I was like hell on wheels, and I was just ready. I just wanted to meet all the gay people I could meet and be around them. This was in high school.
and where were you? What's the location? Were you in-
Baltimore.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, go ahead.
And then I ran away from home at 16, dropped out of high school, went to Los Angeles, and guys who really were good people and didn't take advantage of me.
Oh, where are you now? You're in New York?
I'm in New York.
So how did you get back to New York from LA?
Through seminary, and
Oh, you went to
and the process.
seminary?
I went to some seminary here in New York, and I went to seminary in New York, right?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Basketball?
Yes.
Okay.
I went to the General Theological Seminary, which is
Okay.
the seminary of the Episcopal Church.
Okay.
Right.
And so your life, what made you want to go into the ministry?
Well, I actually believe in calls. I actually believe in
So
calls.
you feel that you were called?
Yes. And I resisted for a long time, and I surrendered to it, and came to some. In the process, though, I took a GED, and I got a undergraduate degree in English Lit.
Oh, wonderful.
And I have a Master of Divinity now.
Oh,
That's not too bad for a person who dropped out of high school in 11th grade.
that's wonderful.
Hopefully I'll be working on a doctoral degree this fall at New York Theological Seminary in New York. Yeah. Hopefully.
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 Well, let's talk about relationships.
I've only had one.
Can you tell me about it?
Well, it only lasted 18 months, and that was just up to last year.
But that's important.
Oh,
though.
it's very important. He was a very good person, but I am also, we had here this program, this project today about the signs that we are, like the elements, like fire and water and wood and metal and I forgot air.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm very much fire, and I don't like to be closed in, and I felt stifled by this person. He's a good person, but I didn't find him to be as outgoing as I needed that kind of person in my life, where I want to deal with someone who was living their life through me.
All right.
And so we came to, it just speaks to my nature, I like to have action going in my life.
All right.
And I want the person I'm
What about family?
I just have two sisters now. My brother died to them.
You're out to your...
My whole family, actually.
Okay, so were your parents knew?
No, not
They
my
didn't?
parents, but
Okay.
the rest of my family knows.
Okay, well, can you address one of those occasions where you actually came out to one of your siblings?
They're not even that significant or exciting.
Okay.
My younger sister, who I was kind of nervous about coming out for, because she was all caught up in the church, a much more conservative denomination than I'm in. And I said, I need this, but I'm saying I don't want to go through anything about, well, the Lord, has said that we should not be loving people of our same sexes and stuff like that. I didn't want to hear that. So finally, but I said, I have to tell her. And she said, well, you're my brother. I don't care what you do as long as you take care of yourself. So
That was it.
that was it. So I was glad because I didn't want to go through it with her,
Well, I'm sensing, and please correct me because I want this to be in your own language, that you were, after the age of 15, after that occurrence, you were pretty assured or confident in your sexuality.
Yes. But you know that when you're like 4 or 5 years old, you have an idea. You don't know how to explain it, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know. I just got to affirm it when I was 15.
All right. Now let's switch for just a second to another little topic that I'm really interested in. Have you seen the film The Color Purple?
Yes, I have 9 times in the movies.
Tell me about that. Why have you seen it 9 times?
Well, the affirmation that I got every time I saw it, I don't care the fact that Celie was a woman. The issue is of a person coming into their own. That was me. I may be black and I may be ugly, but I'm here. That was.
Oh, hold on.
It stopped?
It stopped. I don't
But
know.
it's still blinking.
I don't know what. It should be blinking now, but it was stopped. I'm sorry.
Is it going?
It's going now. Can we
Okay.
go back just a step? I know you probably don't remember, but you said the line in the film.
Oh yeah. I may be black and I may be ugly, but I'm here. It's probably for me the most powerful moment in film because it was about a person that the world would care to forget, a black, ugly woman, and I felt like that nobody cared. But to hear that said, wait a minute, you are somebody and you do have something going on, and people just ought to get over it, They just ought to get over it because I am, And so that film changed my whole attitude about who I was and how I wanted to be treated and how I treated myself. So The Color Purple, I was going back and forth to see it, especially that scene at the dinner time when she jumped up and said, "What have I ever done for you? What have I ever done to you? And what have you ever done for me?" And that kind of thing, something like that. It went. That was that. The first time I heard her when she did that, I lost my breath because it said, "That's what I want to scream at somebody. What the hell have I ever done to you? And why you do this to me? Why you want to put me in a hole? Why you want to scapegoat all your mess onto me because my sexual orientation, and that's all it is different than yours. That's my sexual orientation. It's not all of who I am, but it is my sexual orientation. So why you want to scapegoat on me for that? And that film just knocked me for a loop, you know. It wasn't the fact that she had that lesbian affair with Sugar Avery, because I never really considered that a lesbian affair. That was just somebody bringing somebody out to touch, to be real, to make them come into life. So I didn't see that as a lesbian affair. I saw that as just awakening.
Awakening.
You know. So it was more about the fact that somebody reached out to somebody and took care of them, and that's what I wanted too, you know.
Do you remember the first time you saw the film?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Can you tell me? Where were you?
I was at I can't think of the name of the theater, but it was a theater in Westwood, and right just by UCLA. Nervous about it, because of course you read the book and you knew what happened, and I was nervous because when I looked around the audience, it was packed, and there was a lot of black people there, and I was wondering how they were going to react to the scenes between Sugar Avery and Miss Seeley. And sure enough, they acted just like I thought they would. Nervous about it, but I felt bad, you know, that they would act like that.
Mm-hmm. So was your life different after you saw that film?
Well,
that
yeah,
first
that's like
time,
I said.
That first time. When you left that film,
right.
How did you feel?
I felt like 10 feet tall, and I went and told people that they got to go see this film. I was living in a religious community, and I told all of the people living there that they had to go to see this film. And they all went, and they all thought it was the greatest thing, you know. So.
Okay, can I address another film with you?
Sure.
What about Get on the Bus, Spike's film? Did you see that film
Yes,
at all?
I did.
And tell me your thoughts about that film. First, tell me about, how many times did you see the film first?
I only saw it once.
Okay, so tell me about your experience.
Well, I was pleased and I was unpleased at the same time, you know. But I was unpleased because I just said, you know, well, Spike, so what? But, you know, I was pleased that they were there, that it was evident that gay people were represented there, that there were gay men on that bus. And we know that there were gay men on those buses, and not just a few sissies that went down there and said it, but on that bus, on those buses that were coming, in those Muslim buses, on all of it, there were gay people on those buses. And I thought that needed to be acknowledged. I think he did that in that film. I just thought it was just a little bit forced, you know.
Okay.
But you know, well, forced or not, when black people were first appearing on shows other than Amos and Andy, that was good. It was a little forced, but it was good, you know. Get me in there. Get us in there.
Okay.
You know, I can deal with that. So I was really pleased in that sense, but I was a little leery because I said, "Ew, this doesn't seem natural," but, you know, that's okay. Had been a lot more smooching.
Okay.
Not erotic craziness,
but
holding and things like that, the
Okay.
touch and stuff like that. I don't want to see people. I don't even care for straight people having sex on the screen. So, I mean, I don't think we need to sell that about gay people because that's all they think we are about anyway is sex.
Yes, yes.
So that movie, Get on the Bus, was very important for me.
Now this is my final statement, my final question to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you had the opportunity tomorrow to speak to a group of high school students, gay and lesbian students, of color, what would be the essence of your speech? What would you want them to know?
Well, I guess, I mean, just off the top of my head, I probably would plan something different if I had more time, but off the top of my head is the whole idea of, as hard as it may seem to you, and love yourself. Now, but that's hard. You know, I would say to young people, that's hard. But know this, there are older people who don't care to take advantage of you, but want to support you, so that you don't go through what I went through, the horrors and the shame. And we want you to know that you don't have to find solace in alcohol or drugs or sex, but that you can find solace in your worth, in your creativity, in your skills, in your beauty as a black person or as a Chinese person or whatever. Just be fully who you are and know that you can go and get the support that you need. And know that that don't happen overnight, so don't worry about feeling good about yourself when you walk out this door. But just know that you can, there are places that you can call and begin to talk with people. You don't have to be out there by yourself. I guess that's some of what I would I would talk to them about. And don't let people judge you if you can. And just love yourself and be careful. Not just with safe sex, but know that there are nasty, mean, and evil people out there who don't care about whether you are proud of your sexual orientation. So you have to be careful where you do what you do until you can get to talk to people and so they understand. I can't, I get real nervous for young people who are on the train who have to hold hands or have to be loud about who they are on the train because they get beat down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not about winning, you know.
Okay.
You know. So I would tell them to be careful. You know, everybody talks about the safe sex and the condom. I say, be careful, period. That was something for you.
Oh, it was a lot. It was
Okay.
plenty.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.